Hey y'all, so we are in the kitchen again and we're making some dessert this time. We're making some peach cobbler cruffins. Just think about it as being like a mix of like peach cobbler or maybe peach cobbler dumplings or peach cobbler muffins, but it's very flaky, buttery, and very delicious. So we're gonna get started by making the peach cobbler filling, and I have a full recipe on my website at plussizeinchicago.com. You're gonna search for peach cobbler cruffins. So yeah, I'm gonna start off by making the filling, and of course that's using some butter, some sugar, cinnamon, some nutmeg. We're gonna also use some vanilla extract, and we're gonna use canned peaches for this. Like a lot of times when I make my peach cobbler, I do use like frozen peaches, but because this is like, a recipe that I'm trying to make very quickly, I'm going to use the canned peaches and it tastes just as good. So after I pour these peaches in there, I'm going to let this start simmering so that all the flavors can get together. And then I'm going to pour in like a cornstarch slurry, and that's using like 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of cold water. And I'm going to stir that together so that it can get a little thickened. Not super thick, but just thick enough for these cruffins. So the next step is flattening out some puff pastry sheets. Now I had these sitting out for like about 20 to 30 minutes so they can thaw out from the freezer. And I was doing that while I was making the filling. So I added some flour on a cutting board as well on the top of the sheets so that I can have an easier time flattening it out. Now I cut the puff pastry sheets into like about 15 to 18 squares per sheet, and I'm layering those into the pan. I also use like a strainer and I just added the peaches into each little section of the muffin pan. And then now I'm drizzling the peach syrup onto the top of these peaches. Now, when you're baking it, it may overflow, so you want to put those into like a larger pan, which is what I did. And I baked them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. So as you can see, like you have that dripping just like running off, and that's fine. So you're going to use a fork to pull these puff pastries out and add it to like a smaller dish. And now I'm sprinkling some powdered sugar on top of these. And I waited like about 10 minutes for them to cool off a little bit. And then I started sprinkling the powdered sugar on there. And that just, helps the powdered sugar from melting into the cruffins, while it's super hot. And like I said before, this is a very super easy recipe. I have the instructions on my website at plussizeinchicago.com. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for continuing to follow me. You guys have a good one.